Okay, we're going to get started with 1-point linear perspective for drawing 1. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we put in our vanishing point and horizon line. And so vanishing points always exist on the horizon. And a horizon can be at a top or a middle or a bottom. For the sake of our exercise, we're just going to place it in the center of the paper. And so I'm going to draw a horizontal line. Now my paper is a little bit bigger than the screen is, so I apologize if it looks a little crooked, but you want to make it straight. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a vanishing point right in the center. And so I'm going to use an X so that it appears smaller. If I draw a dot, it might be a little bit too big. And so what we're going to do is we're going to draw 9 boxes. And so I'm going to use a ruler, and I'm going to draw boxes that are at least an inch in size. And I want to make sure that it doesn't touch the edges. And so I'm going to draw so that they're perpendicular to the horizon line. And so they can be any shape. They can just have to be rectangular. I'm going to do one on the left, one on the right, and one in the center above the vanishing point. And I know that this is kind of hard to see for some of you because the paper is not too big, but I'm going to move it so that you can see what I'm doing. So as of right now, I'm not actually using the vanishing point. I'm drawing things above my eyesight, which is called a worm's eye view. Then I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to place it on top of the horizon. So once again, drawing rectangles. And they can be fat, they can be skinny, they can be perfectly square. It doesn't matter as long as they're at least an inch in size and not touching the edge. Okay, so right now they just look flat. So remember, if I'm going too fast, just pause the video and get yourself caught up. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to just do it under the horizon. So I'm going to go ahead and draw myself some more rectangles so that at the end here I'm going to have 9 rectangles. 3 above, 3 on, and 3 below our horizon. Okay, I'm using my ruler to ensure that my lines are always straight. In perspective, it's nice that you can use the crutch of a ruler, and so make sure that it looks, 3D and nice and clean. We're going to always try to use our ruler. So right now, and I'm sorry I can't zoom out to get any smaller here, I have 3 boxes on the right side, 3 rectangles in the center, and 3 rectangles on the left. So now we're going to make them into boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top here, and if something is on the horizon, that's your eye level. Okay, your eye level is on the horizon. Anything that is above your horizon, you're going to see the front, but you're going to also see the bottom of it. So I'm going to take the 2 corners that are on the bottom of this rectangle. I'm going to line them up to my vanishing point. And I get to decide how big they are, because this is just my exercise. And then, oh, gotta wait for us to leave. But anyway, it's funny that this will be on my video. I have to love the announcements that go on after school. So basically, we've got this rectangle. These lines I have carefully lined up to the vanishing point. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to make sure that this back line is parallel to the front line, because they would be parallel if it was 3D, right? So like if I have a box of Kleenex, right, the top and the bottom of the box are parallel. Okay, so now this rectangle has been turned into a 3-dimensional box. We see the front, we see the underside. We're going to do it on the one on the right side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw and connect the corners. So once again, I would see the underside of it. Okay. I would also, based on its positioning, I would see its left side. So I'm going to line the corner up to the vanishing point. Right. And then I'm going to also look at trying to make it parallel. So if this is a vertical, this line has to be a vertical. If this line in the front is horizontal, this back line is going to be horizontal. Now you'll notice I can go in here now and erase that extra stuff. Okay, so see if you can do the one on the left. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it, but see if you can actually do it on your own. Okay, so now we have 3 boxes that are zooming to the center vanishing point. So now we're going to do the ones that are on the horizon. So if something is right in front of you, you would see the front of it, and then depending on if it was off to your left, your right, or your center, it would depend on which side you would see. So since this is off to the right, I would see the front and I would see the left side, just like I did on the top. So I'm going to connect the corners to the vanishing point. And then, since this front part is vertical, this back part also must be vertical, right? Perspective's great because it always follows the rules, okay? Now, if this was a solid box, if it was directly in front of my face, I would not see anything. If this is hard for you to envision, you could, put a Kleenex box right in front of your face, have the flat side of it right in front of you, right? You can't see the left or the right side of it, right? Because it's right and directly in front of your view. Okay. Now, if it was transparent, these corners here would line up to your vanishing point. Okay. If it was see-through. Okay. And so then this back part would go across, horizontally, then vertically, and then horizontally. Okay, so that would be like if it was see-through, right? You can't see it. I'm going to do like a little dashed lines here for you. Okay, so then let's go ahead and do the one on the left side and see if you can do it. I'm going to actually just flip my paper here so you can actually see it. So it should look something like that. Okay, last row. Let's go ahead and do the ones on the bottom, right? So, I'm going to connect the corners to the vanishing point. Okay, so let me put this so you can see it. So all of those lines go diagonally back. They go diagonally back to the vanishing point. If the top part is horizontal, then the top part of the back has to be horizontal. If the front is a vertical, this part has to be a vertical. So remember, all of these lines go back into space. They are parallel too, but because they're going farther away, they converge to a single vanishing point. Right? Now this view, because our eye level once again is that horizon, on this view it's what we call a bird's eye. It's as we're floating above looking on top of it, so we can see the top and the left side, or excuse me, the right side of it when we're looking at it from the angle when it's off shifted to the left. I'm going to do this one directly underneath, so I'd see the top of it, so the top lines up to the vanishing point. Always, always, always line up to the vanishing point. If it doesn't go to the vanishing point, it's incorrect. Go ahead and see if you can do the last one on your own. So now you should have 9 boxes that now look three-dimensional. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video now. You can replay this as many times as you need to in order to get this portion of it done. I'll create a second video that will show you how to add features to your boxes.